This is part 3 for Mariage d'Amour. We're ready to put the hands together on the first page. We've learned the right hand and the left hand. We're going to put them together. One of the first things you will notice is if you draw a line between where the notes match up between the right hand and the left hand, you will notice that the left hand comes in matching the second of the repeated notes that you're doing in the right hand. So the left hand plays its little beginning intro part. And then the left hand starts. It plays its G, and then the right hand comes in. As long as you remember those two things, the left hand comes in first, then the right hand, and then after that, the left hand note will come in on the second of the repeated notes. Now that holds true for all of the musical phrases on the first page. So let's try the second musical phrase, starting on the second line, where we start with the left hand on F. And then the right hand is going to come in on its E flat. So same exact way to match up. Then we're back to the third line, which is like the beginning. Left hand's gonna come in first on the G, and then the right hand comes in on its G. The second line, left hand comes in first, then the right hand on the E flat. Then the next measure is a little different. So we're going to need to talk about that. So the last measure of the fourth line has the left hand coming up to treble clef. It starts with its left hand on D above middle C. So the left hand is doing D, F sharp, A, D. Cross your third finger over to F sharp, A, D. So again, your left hand. And your right hand is playing. Which is an echo of what it just played in the measure before. So when you put the hands together, your right hand and your left hand are going to overlap on the keys that they are using. So if we put them together very slowly, we start with the left hand on D, the right hand on E flat. Again, there are 2 16th notes in the right hand for every 1/8 note in the left hand. And this time they start together at the same time. So the left hand note will come in right with the first note of the right hand. So did you notice how the hands overlap there? They use the same keys, and in fact, when you get to the D here, both hands are playing that note at the same time. You could choose to play it with the right hand or the left hand, or just play it with both at the same time, which is what I tend to do. So let me try that again. So there you have it with the overlapping hands on that measure. One thing that can help if you're having some trouble getting the hands part together, like say you're trying to remember the right hand melody while you're also finding the left hand, one of the best things you can do is to get your hand set for the left hand, and make sure your hand can kind of just go on autopilot. Now what I mean by that, say for instance, let's start on the third musical phrase on the fourth line, where we start on the F with the left hand, and then we come in on the E flat on the right hand. So remember that our left hand is, its pivot point is C, below middle C, then we have F, middle, the C below middle C, A, C, A, C, A, C, and then here we have B flat, F, G, D, A. Well, it will help you to remember the right hand melody if the left hand is basically just on autopilot. After you do this, your left hand is doing A, C for most of the measure, so you don't have to think too much about it. You leave your fingers on the keys, so you don't have to keep re-finding the key every time. It's already there. You don't have to think about it. Then you can focus on the right hand melody. Part in the left hand, B flat. Now comes that funny measure where the hands are crossing over into each other's territory. Okay, now let's do the, I'll do the whole thing with hands together, and I'm going to start after the 2 measure intro where it's just the left hand playing. So I'm starting on the third measure. Here we go. And that's the first page.